Hello again YouTube, it's Richie here. I'm going to be giving you another playthrough of Kerbal Space Program. Now I'm going to be working on assembling my Grand Tour ship now. So first step in that is getting an actual core of my Grand Tour ship into space. Now for this I've provisionally named it the Colossus, which will form the hub around which I build the rest of my Grand Tour ship. Okay, so just to give you a brief rundown of it. It will come out 3-man command module on top. Underneath that is the orbital assembly. This is the actual module that let me build stuff in space. Underneath that is a warehouse for storing the parts themselves. Below that, space for the crew. We've got 3 hitchhiker containers. Scrolling further down, we've also got a 2-man lander pod there. So there's a total of 17 potential crew members. Now if you notice around the outside of it, these are the parts that I'm just highlighting now, where the actual engines and the various landers, Keithin miners, will attach to it. Also have on the edge of that somewhere where small ships can park up to and refuel at. Well, let's get to launching this thing, shall we? Now I know I said in my previous videos that you can get with that in mind. Let's get one of the largest ships I have currently in my inventory into space. Jebediah and Bill, they're keen to go. Oh wait. Yeah, I've just noticed I'm missing out on a docking port there. So bear with the 2 minutes. I'm also going to take Jebediah and Bill out of there because I don't really want to risk losing them just in case the thing doesn't make it to orbit. So I'm going to cut here and come back in a second. Okay, I'm back again. So here we have the ship ready for launch now. Managed to put the docking port right on the very top of it. I've also taken out Jebediah and Bob. Just to explain just a little bit about it, in case you're wondering what these blue lines are. These are from the Quantum Struts mod. These will basically hold the ship rigid in space so it doesn't flop about, which is something you really need if you're assembling something like this. Well, let's get us into space. this build, the 4 outer stages will drop off, and then the centre stage should be enough to just give us that final push as to circularize our orbit. Now we're looking at building up horizontal velocity now. Jeb now just to give us readouts on the orbit parameters. As I explained previously, the landers, engine modules, Kerbin miners will dock on the outside of this. The quantum struts in the centre will just hold it rigid in place. And I've actually done it on put these docking port seniors on both sides of it. So essentially, I can either put the engine on the front of it, or I can put it on the back of it. The whole idea behind this is it's a modular design, i.e. not limited to one thing. Couldn't change around, use it for transporting things. You can even put a set of probes on the back of it and just use those just to scanning missions. Like one of my previous missions, what I did was put the engines on the outside of it, just the scanning modules, and just went to Joule and just mapped out the entire Julian system, and then got back to Kerbin and managed to refuel. With the actual basic engines themselves, the actual Delta V when fully refueled is ridiculous, around about 9,000 or something like that, in space that is, since I'm actually using the nuclear engines. Now I just level off a little bit because I don't want to be going too high. Mainly really focused on getting up a horizontal speed. If you look at the bottom right, you'll see the periapsis dropping rapidly, or increasing should I say really, since I want to get it above zero. Looking to get it somewhat sort of around about 75-80 kilometres by 75-80 kilometres, and that'll be in the right place. We're actually rendezvousing Kerbin miners, which will form the next step. What I'm going to do now is just be a bit lazy and tell MechJeb just to circularize it. And that'll just take away some of the sort of more mundane tasks of orbital rendezvous, or orbital manoeuvres even. Once I'm circularized, I've got a skipper engine on the back of it, which isn't really going to be much good for travelling in space. It doesn't really have much fuel efficiency. So what I'll actually do is I'll detach that stage once it's in stable orbit, and just then I'll drop that back down to Kerbin. And once that's done, the Colossus core itself will be ready to go. There is just one thing missing that I do need to do, and that's to actually name the ship. So, Kerbal spaceship, Serenity. Apparently seems a good name. I'll call it something like Enterprise, but it's not really that original, really. So the last thing to do is just detach the bottom side of it. Just point this back to Kerbin. And that should be enough. The final engine stage should just drop back to Kerbin in its own time. So that's the first part of the Grand Tour done, the actual getting the core module into space. Next steps in the next videos, I'll get the engines up to it, get a Kerbin miner, push it to the moon and refuel there. I'll probably assemble most of this in the Mun orbit, as rendezvous in low Kerbin orbit is well, a bit more difficult really than it is in orbit around the Moon. So what's left for me to say is thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you like what you've seen, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you.